So we got these 167 spoilers, and it seems like this chapter is going to be pretty fun, so let's get into it. The rule to move points between players was created by the Kogane. So I totally forgot that they needed to do this first. I was so fixated on them just making a rule to get Sumiki out of the game, or just making a rule to benefit that in some way. I just forgot about the most integral part here. And they actually do talk about this in chapter 158. Also, you should probably go back and read chapter 158. It's like one of the most important chapters in the series by far. It straight up tells you the entire plot of the series in it. But in that chapter, towards the end of like their initial game plan for the Culling game, Fushiguro says we could add a rule allowing players to transfer points among themselves. And then the Kogane's like, point exchanges are allowed. Then if friends keep passing around points, they won't lose their curse techniques and die. And I forgot that he mentioned that, and it's genius, because obviously that's true. We're actually going to be talking about that next in these spoilers, but rule number 8 in the Culling game is if a player's score remains the same for 19 days, that player shall be subject to curse technique removal. So with this new rule that has just been added, and the strategy implemented by Megumi, they've essentially nerfed this rule, because it can be as simple as just one of them having 2 points and one of them having 1 point, and if they keep passing that 1 point between each other, it negates rule number 8 because their points wouldn't be staying the same. You get what I'm saying? Higuruma moved one of his remaining 2 points to Itadori. This way he won't suffer from curse technique removal for now. I don't like the for now part. Hopefully that was just added by the leaker here. But anyway, in the previous chapter, Yuji had successfully overcome Higuruma, forcing another deadly sentencing domain expansion where it accused Yuji of mass murder in Shibuya, but of course that was Sukuna that did it. And because of that, and non-compass menace or whatever Higuruma says in the previous chapter, Yuji is innocent, and Higuruma knew that, so he dispelled his curse technique and took a nice clean shot from Yuji, and had a change of heart and decided to give Yuji his points. And at the end of this chapter, we saw them both sitting across from each other having like this heart to heart, and I guess Higuruma was just going to explain to Yuji that like, hey, you know, I was forced to defend myself in the Culling game and I had to kill people that I didn't want to, which obviously relates to Yuji because that's one of his big character arcs going on. But also the thing about moving 2 of his remaining points here, this is also shown in chapter 158, and I feel so stupid for not figuring it out sooner, because when they're looking at the 2 players with the highest points, Kashimo and Higuruma, we see that Kashimo has 100 points, but then we see that Higuruma has 102 points. I should have realized right there that, oh, the one with the 2 extra points is obviously going to give their points to either Megumi or Yuji. That way they'll have 2 points left over afterwards and they won't have to die. Invited Higuruma to be part of the team. All right, let's go. I've been talking about this since I guess Higuruma started fighting Yuji. Around the 2nd chapter into that fight, I started to feel that like, wait, Higuruma is an awesome character. And the more that we got to know about him, I was like, wait, this guy isn't a heel. He's actually pretty cool character, and usually these type of characters wind up joining the main cast. I could already see Higuruma becoming one of my favorite characters by the time the series is over, but also I'm pretty sure Higuruma is going to be the replacement for Nanami, because they're essentially like that straight man, stern adult character. And while Nanami was like 27, he acted like a 42-year-old. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you are shocked to hear that Nanami was 27, because like I said, he's acting like he was like 40 or something. Talking about how, oh, you know you've become an adult and time has passed when more strands of hair are on your pillow when you wake up. Like, bruh, you're 27. Getting like a new iPhone is still a big deal to you. But I think it said that Higuruma's like 36 or something, which is basically 42 to manga readers anyway. So it works for me, and I'm totally on board with this. Meanwhile, on Fushiguro's side, once he saw Fushiguro's Shikigami, Reggie asked him to become an ally. All right, we're back to this guy now, the receipt guy, Reggie. So I guess the last time we saw this guy was like chapter 163, when we saw Yuji and Megumi taking like their 2 paths with the 2 NPC companions that they had met. Mai took Yuji to Higuruma, and Remy took Megumi to this guy Reggie. So Reggie seems like, you know, your cliche battle manga, flamboyant, eccentric type, and I'm pretty sure him and Remy are heels for sure. I mean, this could be like another Higuruma situation where these 2 are joining the team as well, but they just strike me as more heelish than anything. but I wouldn't be surprised if Remy winds up joining them. Maybe Reggie too, I'm not really sure. He asked Fushiguro how much he knew about the Culling game. Fushiguro hid the information about Tengen. Do you know about Kenjaku? Some lines like that. Is that Reggie asking Fushiguro if he knows about Kenjaku? Because that's pretty interesting. But the fact that he's name dropping in here might mean that he like straight up knows Kenjaku personally, which might mean that Reggie is like a sorcerer from 400 to 1,000 years ago, possibly? I thought it might have been Remy, but maybe it's Reggie. Wait, Reggie, Remy. Are they siblings? Are they both from 400 to 1,000 years ago? But his receipt curse technique seems so contemporary. I don't think they had receipts back in the day. And if they did, it wasn't like the CVS ones that he has. Kenjaku seems to have said something in an important meeting in China. Okay. Is this the first time China is being mentioned in the series? Aside from maybe whatever they talk about at the beginning of chapter 137 when they're talking about the fallout of Shibuya. But that's pretty interesting. So I guess China is going to play some major significance here. And I actually think I might have some kind of explanation as for what the significance of China is here, or at least a little bit. And I feel like Slumdog Billionaire with this, if you've ever seen that movie, because I for sure would have no idea what was going on here if I just wasn't lucky enough to have been asked about this earlier this year. Like after Tsukumo showed up in Shibuya, she was wearing like that Chinese dress shirt thing. I don't know what it's called, I'm sure somebody in the comments knows. But I didn't think anything of it. After that chapter had come out, somebody had asked me like, is Tsukumo Chinese? And I was like, that's a good question. I don't know. And I never went into that afterwards because why would I? It doesn't really matter. But now it turns out that it might. Maybe that was Gege's little hint as to show us what's going on here possibly. Because a lot of us think that Tsukumo's suspicious, and rightfully so, because I think Gege is writing her that way. And I think there's like 3 options for her right now. Either she's full heel, full face, or a true neutral. I mean, I guess you could break down literally every character that way. So either Kenjaku went to China because he is in cahoots with Tsukumo, which would seem a little weird. Like, why are you putting on that performance in front of Yuji? But then again, this is battle manga. Or whatever's in China, they're both affiliated with it, but at the opposite ends. Negotiations with Reggie failed. Battle begins. Another person attacks from the back. Blows are exchanged. Nu falls from the sky and explodes. All right, so Reggie's pretty powerful, I guess. Somebody attacks from the back. I guess that's Remy? Unless there's another person there. An eyeball falls from the sky and explodes. All right, your guess is as good as mine as to what's going on here. I don't know how big the eyeball is. I don't know if it's like a curse technique. And I'm also not even sure if it's literally exploding here, because in the last 2 spoilers that we got, the leakers said that things were exploding and they definitely weren't. So I think he probably means that like the eyeball drops and then it just splatters or something. That's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Let me know what you think about these spoilers in the comments. Where do you think things are headed? And if you liked the video, please give it a like. Please subscribe too. Have a great day. See you in the next one.